Ferrari's radical Spa wing may have just exposed the most important aerodynamic secret of the season. The upper flap rotates through roughly 270 degrees, completes its movement within 400 milliseconds, and is estimated to deliver between 8 and 10 kilometers per hour in the right conditions. The FIA has already inspected and approved the system. Ferrari has already won with the latest package, and Spa's Kemmel Straight is about to reveal whether the advantage is even bigger than anyone expected. But the real breakthrough is not simply top speed. Ferrari may have found a way to keep more downforce in the corners, shed far more drag on the straights, and protect the tires at the same time. And if the hidden data proves that balance is real, Mercedes and Red Bull are not chasing one unusual wing. They are chasing an entirely new performance concept. Subscribe to the channel. The first thing Ferrari's rivals will study at Spa is not the wing's rotation, is the speed trace. That single line of data can reveal where the advantage begins, how quickly it builds, and whether Ferrari is gaining because of the wing itself, the power unit, the energy deployment, or a combination of all three. At first glance, an estimated gain of 8 to 10 kilometers per hour sounds simple. The car reaches the straight. The wing rotates. The Ferrari goes faster. But real Formula One data is never that simple. A top speed number only shows the final result. It does not show how the car reached it. One car may achieve a high maximum speed because it has very little drag, but take longer to accelerate. Another may reach the same speed earlier because its power delivery is stronger. A third may use electrical energy more aggressively at the beginning of the straight, then lose momentum near the braking zone. That is why the shape of the speed trace matters more than one number at the end. If Ferrari's advantage begins immediately after the wing changes position, the aerodynamic system is working exactly as intended. If the speed difference grows steadily across the straight, the low drag configuration may be reducing resistance through the entire acceleration phase. But if the gain appears only near the end, Ferrari may be relying more heavily on energy deployment or gear selection. Spa will expose the difference. The Kemmel Straight is long enough for every weakness to become visible. A car can hide poor efficiency on a short straight. At Spa, it cannot. The Ferrari must accelerate uphill, pass through one of the fastest transitions on the calendar, and continue building speed for several seconds. That makes the circuit an aerodynamic laboratory, and the Macarena wing is about to be tested under the most demanding conditions it has faced. The secret data Ferrari wants to protect is not simply the maximum speed, it is the relationship between downforce and drag. Every rear wing creates both. Downforce presses the tires into the circuit. Drag resists the car's movement. The engineering challenge is not eliminating drag completely. That would also eliminate much of the grip. The challenge is creating the greatest useful downforce for the smallest possible drag penalty. Ferrari's rotating flap attempts to change that relationship during the lap. In corner mode, the wing presents a more aggressive surface to the airflow. That creates the rear load needed for braking stability, rotation, and traction. Then, in straight mode, the upper element turns away. The airflow meets less resistance. The rear wing stops behaving like a wall, and the car begins accelerating more freely. But the real data question is how much downforce Ferrari can carry before the straight. That may be where the largest advantage is hidden. Imagine two cars reaching the Kemmel Straight with identical top speed. One car had to run a low downforce setup for the entire lap to achieve that number. The other could carry more wing through the corners, then remove the drag only when needed. The speed trap would show the same result. The lap time would not. The second car would be stronger through the corners without losing the straight. That is the advantage Ferrari is searching for. Not simply a faster car in one section. A car that makes fewer compromises everywhere. This is why rivals will compare Ferrari's minimum corner speeds. If Leclerc and Hamilton are carrying more speed through the high-speed sections while still matching or beating their rivals on the straights, the wing has changed the setup equation. That will be far more significant than an isolated top speed gain. It would mean Ferrari can choose a stronger corner configuration without paying the traditional price. And Spa contains several areas where that could matter. The car needs confidence through the climb from Eau Rouge into Raidillon. It needs stability through Pahon. It needs rear grip through the technical final sector. It also needs enough straight-line efficiency to defend and attack. Normally, improving one of those areas weakens another. Ferrari is trying to improve both. That is why the reported speed advantage has created so much attention. The number may be 8 kilometers per hour. It may be 10. The source does not confirm 11. But the exact figure is only one piece of the story. The deeper question is how much aerodynamic load Ferrari can carry before activating the low drag mode. That information will remain hidden inside the team setup sheets and simulation models. But the track will provide clues. If Ferrari appears unusually stable in the corners, the team may be running more rear wing. If the car still remains competitive in the speed traps, the Macarena system is removing a large portion of the penalty. That would explain why Ferrari has invested so heavily in the concept. The wing did not appear once and disappear. It returned repeatedly. It was tested during preseason, used in practice, examined by the FIA, run again during a filming day, adopted permanently after a major update, then revised for Silverstone. Now another evolution is expected for Spa. That is not the development history of a publicity stunt, is the development history of a platform. Ferrari clearly believes the basic idea contains more performance, and the team has been careful about when to reveal each stage. During the first tests, the wing attracted attention because of its dramatic movement, but the visual effect told rivals almost nothing about the true aerodynamic behavior. They could see the flap rotating. They cannot see the pressure distribution across the wing. They cannot see how the airflow separated. They cannot see how the rear weight changed. They cannot see the effect on the diffuser. And they could not see how the front wing was being coordinated with the rear. That hidden interaction may be the most valuable part of the concept. A rear wing affects more than the air directly behind it. It changes the pressure around the entire rear of the car. That can influence how air leaves the diffuser. It can alter the stability of the wake. It can change the load on the rear tires. And it can affect how the car responds when following another machine. When Ferrari rotates the upper flap, the entire flow structure behind the car changes. The rear wing produces less resistance, but the diffuser may also experience a different pressure environment. That interaction could improve efficiency even further, or it could create instability. This is why the system required so much testing. The wing cannot simply reach the correct position. The airflow must remain controlled during the movement. For a brief moment, the flap passes through several intermediate angles. Each one creates a different aerodynamic state. The FIA requires the transition to occur within 400 milliseconds. That limits how long the car can remain between its two main configurations. But even within that short period, the balance can change. The driver may feel the rear load disappearing. The steering may become lighter. The car may pitch differently as resistance falls. Ferrari's control systems must manage that transition so smoothly that the driver barely notices it. That is far more difficult than producing the movement itself. A mechanical system can rotate a flap. A competitive Formula One system must rotate it at exactly the right speed, under exactly the right load, without creating a dangerous shift in balance. And it must repeat that process hundreds of times across a weekend. Heat builds inside the actuator. Vibration attacks the mechanism. The structure flexes. The airflow changes with speed. Rain may alter the load. Debris may affect the seals. Every activation becomes a reliability test. That is why Fred Vasseur's earlier comments about mileage were so important. Ferrari did not remove the wing in China because it lacked confidence in the idea. It removed it because the team had not yet collected enough evidence. Formula One engineers do not trust a new system because it works once. They trust it after it works repeatedly, under different conditions, at different speeds, with different fuel loads, and with both drivers. The system returned because Ferrari eventually gained that confidence. By Miami, the team was ready to commit. Vasseur said the wing would remain on the car. That meant the mechanism had passed the internal threshold. It was no longer experimental. It had become part of Ferrari's standard aerodynamic philosophy. And from that moment, the development objective changed. The first task was proving the system could work. The next task was making it work better. Silverstone gave the clearest public sign of that progress. Ferrari brought a more aggressive version as part of a wider package. The team also revised the diffuser and exhaust area. That combination suggests the rear wing was being developed as part of a connected aerodynamic system. Ferrari was not simply adding a larger low drag opening. It was adjusting how the entire rear of the car managed airflow. That is where the hidden data becomes especially important. A wing can reduce drag, but if the diffuser loses performance in the corners, the overall package may become slower. A diffuser can create more downforce, but if it makes the car too sensitive to ride height, the driver may lose confidence. The exhaust flow can influence the rear aerodynamics, but changes may also affect cooling and power unit behavior. Every improvement must be balanced against another demand. Ferrari Silverstone results suggest the team found a combination that worked. Charles Leclerc won. Lewis Hamilton finished third. But even that result does not tell us how much of the gain came from the Macarena wing. The race involved an entire upgrade package. Strategy mattered. Track position mattered. The safety car mattered. Rival problems mattered. The wing was part of the success, not the only cause. That distinction is important. Ferrari has not publicly released data proving the rotating flap alone created a specific lap time gain. The estimated speed advantage comes from paddock calculations, not an official Ferrari number. That secrecy is normal. Teams rarely reveal the exact value of a successful component. They may discuss the concept. They may confirm legality. They may show the movement. But the true numbers remain protected, because those numbers tell rivals where to focus. If Ferrari confirmed that the wing produced a huge gain, every competitor would accelerate its own program. If the gain were smaller than expected, Ferrari would not want to weaken the psychological pressure. Silence keeps rivals guessing, and uncertainty creates its own advantage. Mercedes must decide how seriously to react. Red Bull must determine whether its own rotating concept is enough. McLaren must choose whether to follow the same direction or develop a different solution. Every hour spent investigating Ferrari's wing is an hour not spent somewhere else. That is why technical secrecy can influence the entire championship. Ferrari may gain lap time on the circuit. It may also force rivals to spend resources away from their original plans. And the more successful the system appears, the stronger that effect becomes. Spa could intensify it. If Ferrari dominates the speed traps while remaining strong through the corners, the paddock will immediately treat the concept as proven. Photographers will focus on the rear wing. Engineers will study every image. Teams will compare the activation timing. They will examine the gap between the elements. They will search for changes around the end plates, main plane, and central section. Every visible detail will be measured. But copying the outside shape may not reproduce the performance. The real advantage may sit inside the system. The actuator geometry,